Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Today we got an English automobile, 2006 Land Rover HSE lowrider, and that's part of the customer complaint. He said about a month ago he was driving, then he parked it somewhere, started up, and he had a message: transmission limp mode, and his air suspension would not pump up. And then it sat for a month, and then slowly it kind of bottomed out and wouldn't reinflate. He said all this happened at the same time: transmission not shifting and the air suspension bottom, basically locked out or disabled. It actually drove here from about an hour away. He said it goes up to 50 miles an hour. So he limped it over, dropped it off. He said something's wrong with it. Definitely seems electrical if the suspension and the transmission was affected at the same time. So let's do a pre-scan. We'll get it in the shop. I don't even know if I want to test drive this thing in its limp state. But it starts up and runs just fine. Ignition key's down here. So when you turn the key on, start it up, it'll give you the warning here. Check all tire pressures. Transmission fault, limited gears only. Change not available. HDC fault, system not available. So a whole bunch of systems affected here. Let's take a look at the codes and see where this one goes. Alright, we've got the big Land Rover in the garage. The key is on, and TOPDON Tornado 90,000 is putting out the amps. This thing draws about almost 30 amps when the key is on, so you definitely need a good charger to do key on diagnostics on any vehicle. Got the scanner and did a full health report here. Most of the modules are red, so you can see, the ECM, for example, it's fussing about lost comm with transfer case control module, lost comm with transmission control module. So transmission controller is MIA. Can't talk to it. You can try, and it'll just kick you out. So that's a problem. TCM is offline. What else do we have here? Parking brake control module. No, we don't care about that. Ride level control module. That's offline. All-terrain control module. I'm not sure if that's equipped. And OCS occupant classification system module. So instrument cluster says there's a problem with the medium speed CAN communication bus. Control module main software, lost comm with ride level control module, permanent code, lost comm with security control module, lost comm with remote driver module, lost comm with audio unit. So intermittent, permanent, TCM, permanent code, lost comm with TCM, that's a permanent code, yep, and lost comm with transfer case control module, that's intermittent. So transfer case control module right now is online. Intermittently says control module bus off, and it can't talk to the ride level, and it can't talk to the transmission. So what I'm going to do right now, the car is definitely broken. We're going to clear all the DTCs out, shut the key off, back out, turn it back on, and see exactly which codes come back. I want to know how many modules are offline right now. Not the intermittent ones, the permanent codes, and we'll chase that down. Alright, beautiful. So we got a green tree. Back out. Now, we'll just cycle the key. Open and close the driver's door, just for consistency. Blinky, blinky, blinky. Key back on. You see this is the ride level control right here. Those LEDs came on and then they went off. Let's rescan it for codes. Okay, after a second code scan, here is what is left. So a lot of red modules in the drivetrain CAN, high-speed tree. So ECM says definitely lost comm with TCM. Transfer case control says lost comm with ride level control and lost comm with TCM. Okay. FLM is front lighting module, lost comm with ride level control module, lost comm with transfer case control module. Vehicle dynamics control, this is like the ABS, lost comm with TCM. And the instrument cluster, control module main software, lost comm with ride level control, lost communication with remote driver utility module, TCM, and invalid data, and TCM. So TCM, ride level, those are the two. These ones right here, those are offline. Transfer case control module, we can talk to it and it's telling on these two. So let's pull up some wiring diagrams of the network and see how could two modules potentially be offline at the same time. Remember, according to the customer, this fault happened all at once, the transmission limp mode and the air ride suspension. So hopefully we can kill two birds with one stone here. But let's pull up some diagrams right now. So let's locate these modules on the wiring diagram for the computer data lines, information bus. So I have the aftermarket redrawn diagrams right here, and also the OE diagrams. So if you look at the OE side, Range Rover VIN 1980, 58 and onwards. So here they actually split up CAN bus high speed PV8, high speed PV8. So you can see, for example, on this one, if we zoom in, this is just the CAN high tree, and then the next page, it looks very similar. This is the CAN H high speed. Oh, it's a diesel. We don't care about diesel. And then medium speed. So, what's the layout? Sometimes it's easier to go to the redrawn and look at the layout. So our diagnostic socket is right here. And I did print this out, so let's trace some wires and see where these modules live. Alright, so let's start with our diagnostic socket. That's the DLC connector. Instrument cluster, that's on the high-speed network. Audio head unit, steering angle sensor, engine control module. The alternator talks to the ECM. And then we have the transfer case, transmission, and air suspension. So right off the bat, these two modules that are kind of next to each other on the tree, air suspension and transmission, these are offline. No comm. We can talk to the transfer case control module and everything else. ECM, instrument cluster, and then there's ABS right here. This is the vehicle dynamics module. So I have a feeling the problem's going to be somewhere here. Now, the OE diagrams, you always want to take a look at the OE because they could have very important information that can help you in the diagnosis. So, as you can see, this is a twisted pair, so they're showing like the high and the low side of the twisted pairs. And right here, you'll see we have terminating resistor in the air suspension module. Interesting. Then there's a TCM, so this is no comm. This is no comm. But the transfer case, we can talk to ECM, instrument cluster, so he kind of piggybacks through there, steering angle sensor, and ABS, vehicle dynamics module, we can talk to that. And there's our DLC. So we're good up to this upper part of the tree. Excellent. And we know the terminating resistors, they're drawn One is in the air suspension module and the other one is in the ABS module. Very neat. So step one is just let's take a resistance measurement across pins 6 and 14 at the DLC right here, and I'm hoping we're going to see 120 ohms. If we see 60 ohms, then the whole network is continuous, and then there's going to be maybe a power or ground side problem on the TCM and air suspension. But if the network is open and we can talk to the ABS, this resistor has to be good, and this might be an open circuit. So let's just get the voltmeter out and do that quick check. Alright, so I got the voltmeter connected to pins 6 and 14, and guess what? First, set it to the volt scale. We're at 1.1 volts. So if you try to measure ohms, that's going to throw off your ohm meter. It's just going to say infinity. So what we have to do is disconnect the charger and the battery to get any voltage off the system, and then we can do that resistance check. So let me just disconnect the charger, and the battery is right here. Alright, so charger disconnected, negative post, got the clamp off of there. So right now on our meter we should see 0.0 volts, and sure enough we do. So now go to resistance, bingo, 115 ohms. Excellent. So now let's go back to the diagram and see if there's like an intermediate connector after the transfer case control module, which we can use to see what the resistance is going one way and what the resistance is going the other way. Okay, so if we can talk to the transfer case control module, but nothing downstream, and this resistor we can't see, there is an intermediate connector C3014. So there it is right there. And there it is again. So it looks like that goes down to the TCM. So if we unplug this connector, what will happen? So there and there, we'll be able to measure the resistance on pins 4 and 5. That's going to be this junction, and then this junction up here at pins 2 and 3. We can measure the resistance going to this air suspension control module. Excellent. So now we just need to find C3014, and I looked it up on AllData, and we actually have a very nice picture of the location. It says inside E-box, this green connector C3014. Let's go find that, unplug it, and measure the resistance going either way. Alright, so looking for that connector. Got the box off, or the cover, and it's going to be that green one down there. So let me get these other ones propped up out of the way and get that green one up, unplug it, and get the ohm meter and go one way or the other way. See where we can see the 120 and if there's an open circuit. Alright, here we go. So we have two halves of the connector and two pairs of wires on each half. Let's just do all of them. So pins 2 and 3, and this is the female side of the connector. So female, male, pins 2 and 3, 120 ohms. 120, check. Now let's do pins, this is pins 2 and 3. Now 4 and 5 is the other pair. So 4 and 5 on the female side of the connector is open circuit. Okay. Now let's go on the male side of the connector. So it goes like that. Even back probe from here, pins 2 and 3. $39 kilo ohms. Okay, 39 kilo ohms. And then 4 and 5. 39 kiloohms. Interesting. What does that all mean? Well, let's go back to the diagram and try to figure that out. Okay, so this is slightly confusing because they split up the high and the low side into two separate, sections. So, but just looking at the diagram, for example, pins 2 and 3 on the female side, we got 120. Well, what does that mean? Pin 2 is right here, that's the female side, and pin 3, that's the female side. We just measured the resistance in this air suspension control module, and that's 120. So we're good from this connector to here. So we can check that off. So we can see this resistor. However, if we measure on the female side pin 4 going that way and pin 5 going that way, look at this, open circuit. So if we can talk to the TCM, right, we can talk to it, but measuring resistance from here, you get open circuit. I'm suspecting there's a problem between this connector that we're probing and the TCM. Somewhere in here is going to be a broken wire. So we have to find this transfer box control module, transfer case control module. Let's look that up, see where it lives. I'm hoping it's not like somewhere under the truck inside the transfer case or something silly. And then we'll do the checks from this connector to the transfer box. So for the transfer case control module, we're looking for C1854. Now look that up, and hey, it's right next door to where we are right now. Apparently this little module right here is our transfer case control module. There's one pair of wires, there's the other one. Perfect. Let's get an ohm meter on here and go towards this connector and then back towards the ABS module. Okay, so I unplugged connector C1856, that's right here, and that is the one that goes back towards the ECM and the ABS, the good side. 120 ohms on that one. So we're good from here back towards the DLC. Now, let's unplug the other one, C1854, and measure those two pins going back towards here. Alright, I put the green connector back together. Now we're measuring this way from the transfer case control module, that way, and we can see open circuit. So now, let's just measure one wire at a time. Pin 1 to pin 5, and then looks like pin 4, and this is the other one. And it's hard to see, but it should be the same color wire. Alright, so here's the first ohm measurement. This is the yellow and black wire going to the yellow and black on the female side of connector 3014, right? So that should just be a wire. Sure enough, we have 0 ohms. So we just checked. This is the black and yellow tree, right? We checked from here to here. This checks out. Now let's move to pins 4 on the green connector and the neighboring pin on the transfer case box. Well, check it out. The neighboring pin, yellow and brown wire here, pin 4 on C3014 female side, open circuit. So how is a wire going from here to here open circuit? I don't know. We can look at the harness. I mean, proof of concept, we could just jump here to here inside this e-box and make sure everything's online, scan it for codes, make sure the air suspension works, all that jazz, and then we'll try to find this broken wire somewhere in the harness. Oh snap! So I'm just visually following the harness. So we go from the transfer case box into this conduit, down here down past the battery, back into the engine bay, down here, and then back up into the e-box. So to get from here to here, they went all the way around. Just doing a visual inspection, make sure the tape's all good. And what do we have right here? Right here is our broken wire for the network. You guys see that? I know the lighting isn't the best here, kind of a tight spot, but that's got to be it right here. Let me just pull on it. There, the wire's broken. So let's fix that, and then we'll get 60 ohms on the DLC, and then scan this whole thing for codes. It should be back in business. That would be amazing. So, indeed, here it is, broken circuit, yellow and brown wire, so we know exactly where it is now. Right here. Boom. Why did it break? I don't know. The harness might have gotten nicked here and someone was replacing a light bulb that's kind of old and getting a little crusty. It's not rodent damage, I don't think. Just one wire and broke. Maybe it was a little tight here, no vibration, 20 years. So yeah, let's extend it. Let me clean these ends off. We'll reconnect everything, and this truck should be at least should be able to shift. Alright, so I'm going to solder in an extension because the wire is tight to begin with. And we'll just shrink wrap it and make it look better than factory. No butt connectors, no anything. Butt connector would not look very nice in this location. They don't look very nice in any location. Oh, look at that. Just beautiful. The solder wicked right through the strands on both wires. So let me finish that up, and cross your fingers, this thing should be fixed. Okay, solder joint number 2. Look at this. Precision. I can reach in here with both the soldering iron and the solder, heat up that joint, and just let the solder wick its way into the strands. Hold it, and let go. Look at this. Do a little tug test. Might put a little solder on the other side, and then shrink wraps right here. Wrap this all up. No one will ever know we're here. Our final step is to get this little piece of shrink wrap over the joint. Nice and neat. And just toast it on there. Simply gorgeous. Right there. That's a repaired harness. We could even plug in the scanner right now and scan all the modules, make sure this thing is happy. Oh, by the way, that's right, that's the site of victory. 60 ohms on pins 6 and 14. We're good to go. Alright, here we go. Smart scan. Let's see if the TCM is online. Yes. And the height control module. So we'll let it finish scanning, clear out all the codes, start up, see how it drives. Okay, so TCM had lost comm with everything, and then ride level module, communication bus off. So let's clear everything out. Green. Still, I'm sure it's going to be green. Then we'll do a key cycle, scan it one more time, and then finally take it for a test drive. Looking much better. So only permanent codes are lost communication with the remote driver utility module, and then CD unit, no one cares about that. And then steering column lock module, the owner said he had to do some modifications to make it work again, so not worried about that at all. So let me just save this in a report, and we'll finally take it for a test drive, see if the suspension comes up, see if everything is happy. Alright, well, how do we control this? Is it lifting up? It is lifting up. Look at that. It's leveling out. So it's happy right there? Are you kidding me? What is this? Lock? Unlock? Well, let's see how high it got. Yeah, that's reasonable. That's pretty reasonable. Sweet. Can you keep going higher and higher? It is going higher. So I guess a little lower. Oh, here we go. This is our off-road mode. What about our regular mode? So we're blinking right here. Lowering. Reset height if clear of obstacle. Now it's down here. Okay, that's access mode. Got it. And go up. Raising. Are we done? Yeah, I shouldn't play with it too much, you know, it's gonna break. There's a touch screen? Oh wow. That's pretty cool. Land Rover seems to be happy. Make sure it shifts through all the gears. First. 3. Oh, I should probably put it in drive here, okay. Roads might be getting a little slick. Nice. So we're done. Ready to ship to the customer. He'll do his own oil change. Sweet. So for 2006, this is pretty high tech. They got touch screens. Heated steering wheel. 7 p.m. Set clock. Set date. 1. Oh. Let's see if it goes to 2025. Will they allow you to do that? There we go. Will that clock set? I should have clicked OK. 1703. Oh, I mean, that's cute. You get a little analog clock that you set from a touch screen. Come on. Boom. Nice. I mean, I'm amazed that everything works on this truck. Air suspension, four-wheel drive, transfer case, all this touchscreen stuff. And, you know, first when I heard Land Rover, I'm like, oh, here we go. This might take a week. But you follow the data, and ended up being just a broken wire, easy to access, just under the hood. Didn't get dirty, but the process is absolutely important here. You got all the codes, scan for codes, see which modules are offline, get the diagrams, get the tree, and then all we needed was an ohm-meter to track down the broken wire. And that's it. And OEM service info, just to find connector locations and the module locations. So the process isn't any different on any make or model, really. And it's nice that Land Rover had that information that all data could display, and we used it. Job done, no parts required. This thing's back on the road. The customer is going to be super pleased. He thought it was going to take days. I told him just leave it, but we're done here in half a day. We dropped it off this morning, done in the evening, and that's it. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.